Hi everyone. Good morning and good evening to everyone, all my students around the world. Thank you for enrolling into my course called Sentiment Analysis. In this course, we are going to learn about sentiment and analysis. Sentiment analysis is a process of classifying any type of reviews. Let's assume that it's a movie reviews in this particular example into positive or negative categories. So we will submit an information like if a person has written about the movie, like this movie was great, the actors were great, this movie talks about this topic, it really appeals to the emotions of people, that can classify as a positive sentiment. If you go to the other extreme, like this movie sucks, the screenplay is not that great, that can be classified as a negative sentiments, right? So that's an example of a sentiment analysis. So if you take a look at example of why do you want to do this, so let's here's an Amazon movie site. It's a prime amazon.com site. At amazon.com site you can watch movies on the prime videos and stream movies on your device. So very often people write the reviews, like for example in this particular case, you write a review saying that each user can write a review saying that this was a fun 3D choice, or some people can say the movie is not that great. But we need to analyze to see how the movie is overall doing, right? Whether the movie has a positive sentiment among users or not. So that is done usually using a sentiment analysis. So we submit this text, and then our sentiment analysis can classify this as positive or negative. Then we can say, let's say 100 people have given reviews. Then we can compute how many of them are positive, how many of them are negative, and a percentage of that, let's say 40% is positive, 60% negative. So you get an overall understanding of how your movie is doing, right? So again, as you can see, sentiment analysis is a process of converting unstructured information like this movie text into a structured information like positive or negative emotions, which can be which you can do additional statistical computation to derive an overall understanding of how the movie is doing. So in this particular course, what we are going to do is here are the steps for building a sentiment analyzer. We will learn about the word embeddings, which are required for converting text information to numeric vectors, and then we will use a convolutional neural network for building our machine learned sentiment analyzer, and then we will use a deep learning model which can predict sentiment analysis, and then we will use an interactive Jupyter notebook throughout this course, just to so that you can look at the steps. You can look at the entire code step by step, and at each section of the code you can see the output and see what section what that particular section is doing. Then at the end we will also build a Python Flask web application where you can submit a movie review, and then web application can tell you whether it's positive or negative sentiment. And then I will give you a challenge on to build the bulk classifier using the techniques that you have learned in the example. So just to give you an outline about, so this is kind of a movie review Python application you will build at the end. And let's say if you copy, let's say if I'm going to copy this movie review here and submit into this statement and click analyze. So you can say that this particular sentiment, our text sentiment analyzer is classifying as a positive. So behind the scenes, this Python web application is invoking a machine learned model which we are going to train in this course, and using that model to predict the category. So this example of a positive category. Let's try an example of a negative category, right? So let me see if I can find some negative categories. So let me see. This is one of the bad review for a movie called Watch a Guy Thing. Let me see what our model predicts. Yeah. So as you can see, our model is predicting as a negative emotions, right? So this is how you do a sentiment analysis, and we are going to go into detail on how we can build, how can we download the data, build a machine learning model, train it, and also use it for prediction. Okay, so stay tuned for subsequent lectures.